What does nature teach us about God? The Apostle Paul in Romans chapter 1, verse 20 says this, "For since the creation of the world, God's invisible qualities, his eternal power, and his divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse." Here the Apostle Paul shows us that look at creation, because creation is going to reveal something about God. There are three particular adjectives that Paul uses: invisible, eternal, and divine. And so that is what we learn when we look at creation. For example, when I look at creation, I notice something about creation. It's all seen. Everything that is made is seen with the eyes, which means the Creator must of necessity not be seen. See, atheists stumble at this point. They say God is a fairy tale because you can't see him. They treat him like he's the tooth fairy or Santa Claus, where it's an imagination. But the truth of the matter is, God by its very nature would have to be unseen. For if he is seen, then he would only be part of creation. So the first revelation Paul is showing is God must of necessity be invisible. Otherwise, he would not be God. The second thing he mentions is his eternal power, eternal. There's something else about creation. Creation is in time. And everything that's in this world has a beginning and it has an end. There's nothing eternal. You're not eternal. You have a birth and you have a death. Trees have a birth and a death. In other words, everything in this world has a beginning and it has an ending. So Paul is showing that means the Creator cannot be within time. He must be outside of time and must of necessity be eternal. Often I get atheists ask me this question: if God made the world, then where did God come from? Who made God? And that's the point. If someone made God, then we would have a deeper problem, because then God would not be the Creator, because then who made him? Then who made him would be the Creator. But then you have to ask the same question: who made that Creator? And before you know it, you go into an endless cycle of never being able to answer the question. The truth is, God is uncreated because he is eternal. That's the second point that Paul brings out. And finally, the last point is his divine nature. That means it would take someone that is not a creature, not of the created order, to be able to make the created order. That means it takes the divine. It's not, in other words, creation is not an accident. It's not a product of human beings or the product of nature itself. Nature cannot create nature. It would have to be God who creates the worlds. Those are the three things that Paul brings out in looking at creation that you discover about God.